I was so enraptured with every single pick from Book of the Month this month that I picked up all 5 of them. These are all 5 books that are releasing this month. So even if you don't have Book of the Month, you can still pick these books up at some point in January from your local independent bookstore or library. So stay tuned, keep watching, and you might just find a book or more, like I did, that you would very much like to read. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. My first pick was Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. I think that's an adorable cover. Let me have my face so that there it goes. So I think the cover is super, super cute. This book actually releases on January 30th. So end of the month, if you're interested, just make a note and I'll tell you what it's about. Enid is obsessed with space. She can tell you all about black holes and their ability to spaghettify you without batting an eye in fear. Her one major phobia? Bald men. But she tries to keep that one under wraps. When she's not listening to her favorite true crime podcast on a loop, she's going out with a rotation of women from dating apps. At the same time, she's trying to forge a new relationship with her estranged half-sisters after the death of her absent father. When she unwittingly plunges into her first serious romantic entanglement, Enid starts to believe that someone is following her. As her paranoia spirals out of control, she must contend with her mounting suspicion that something is seriously wrong with her, because at the end of the day, there's only one person she can't outrun: herself. Brimming with quirky humor, charm, and heart, Interesting Facts About Space effortlessly shows us the power of revealing our secret shames, the most beautifully human parts of us all. So it sounded cute, it sounded quirky, it sounded different, and it sounded really interesting. So I went ahead and picked it up, and again, if you're interested, it comes out last Tuesday of the month, January 30th. The second thing I picked up has already come out. This released on January 2nd, and I am so excited for it. It is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. There's the cover. It's got that thriller, suspense, mystery kind of cover to it, and so that's what totally turned me on to it. So let me tell you what it's about. Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl could want. A doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. The only catch? Evie Porter doesn't exist. The identity comes first: Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. Then the mark: Ryan Sumner. The last piece of the puzzle is the job. Evie isn't privy to Mr. Smith's real identity, but she knows this job isn't like the others. Ryan has gotten under her skin, and she's starting to envision a different sort of life for herself. But Evie can't make any mistakes, especially after what happened last time. Evie Porter must stay one step ahead of her past while making sure there's still a future in front of her. The stakes couldn't be higher, but then, Evie has always liked a challenge. That sounds cool. I have no idea what's going on with that whole description, other than it's gonna be twisty-turny and I am here for it. The third thing I picked up is Mercury by Amy Jo Burns. And this also came out on January 2nd. I actually have Amy Jo Burns Shiner back here, and I generally don't like to pick up something when I have something else by the author that I haven't read yet. But this just sounded too good to pass up. So I went ahead and put this one in the box as well. It's 1990, and 17-year-old Marley West is blazing into the River Valley town of Mercury, Pennsylvania. A perpetual loner, she seeks a place at someone's table and a family of her own. The first thing she sees when she arrives in town is 3 men standing on a rooftop. Their silhouettes blot out the sun. The Joseph brothers become Marley's whole world before she can blink. Soon, she is the young wife to one, the one who got away to another, and an adopted mother to them all. As their own mother fades away and their roofing business crumbles under the weight of their unwielding father's inflated ego, Marley steps in to shepherd these unruly men. Years later, an eerie discovery in a church attic causes old wounds to resurface, and suddenly the family's survival hangs in the balance. With Marley as their light, the Joseph brothers must decide whether they can save the family they've always known, or whether together they can build something stronger in its place. Doesn't that just sound so good? Family slash found family, definitely kind of a lit fiction kind of thing, and I love those. So I am really excited to get to this one. The next pick is coming out on January 16th, and it is The Fury by Alex Michaelides, I believe is how that is pronounced. I think this one's getting a lot of buzz everywhere, and so I was really happy to go ahead and pick it up from Book of the Month. This is the same author who wrote The Silent Patient and The Maidens. I loved The Silent Patient. I have not yet read The Maidens. I haven't picked that one up yet either, but I know how much I love The Silent Patient, so I absolutely had to grab this. Okay, this is a tale of murder, and you know how much I love those. Or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lena Farrer is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the world's most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. I tell you this because you may think you know this story. You probably read about it at the time. It caused a real stir in the tabloids, if you remember. It had all the necessary ingredients for a press sensation, a celebrity, a private island caught off by the wind, and a murder. We found ourselves trapped there overnight, our old friendships concealed, hatred, and a desire for revenge. What follows was a game of cat and mouse, a battle of wits, full of twists and turns, building to an unforgettable climax. The night ended in violence and death. But who am I? My name is Elliot Chase, and I'm going to tell you a story unlike any you've ever heard. Oh my goodness, does this not sound amazing? It's going to be hard not to pick this up early. It definitely feels like it should be a good one for Easter spring since it's set over Easter weekend. Maybe do it in the seasonal of that one. If I wait that long, we'll have to see because this sounds so good. And my final pick is coming out on January 23rd. It sounds amazing. There were comparisons to Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It's got magical realism, which I absolutely adore. And it is called The Bullet Swallower by Elizabeth Gonzalez James. And there's that cover. So I believe it's a Western, and I haven't read a Western in a hot minute. So there's a lot about this that I'm super excited for. So here's what it says it's about. A cosmic debt, generations in the making. In 1895, Antonio Sonato is the latest in a long line of ruthless men. He's good with his gun and is drawn to trouble, but he's also out of money and out of options. A drought has ravaged the town of Dorado, Mexico, where he lives with his wife and children, and so when he hears about a train laden with gold and other treasures, he decides to rob it, with his younger brother, Hugo, in tow. But when the heist goes awry and Hugo is killed by the Texas Rangers, Antonio finds himself launched into a quest for revenge that endangers not only his life and his family, but his eternal soul. In 1964, Jaime Sonato is Mexico's most renowned actor and singer. But his comfortable life is disrupted when he discovers a book that purports to tell the entire history of his family, beginning with Cain and Abel. In its ancient pages, Jaime learns about the multitude of horrific crimes committed by his ancestors. And when a mysterious figure shows up in Mexico City, Jaime realizes that he may be the one who has to pay for his ancestors' crimes, unless he can discover the true story about his grandfather, Antonio, the legendary Bandido el Tragabalas, the Bullet Swallower. A family saga that's epic in scope and magical in its blood and based loosely on the author's own great-grandfather, The Bullet Swallower tackles border politics, intergenerational trauma, and the legacies of racism and colonialism in a lush setting, and stunning prose that asks who pays for the sins of our ancestors and whether it is possible to be better than our forebears. Does that not sound absolutely flippin' amazing? I cannot wait for this. Oh, they're all so good. I can't wait for any of them, but I absolutely cannot wait to read this one. So here we go. Those were the 5 main picks for Book of the Month this month. I hope there was something in there that you enjoyed. I didn't even check to see what the add-ons were because I had filled my box with every single thing that were the regular top 5 picks. And so hopefully, whether you have Book of the Month or not, you found something in there that you might enjoy and want to pick up. And so if you do, let me know in the comments down below. And in the meantime, I hope you subscribe and come back again, where I'm going to keep talking about books that I love and all sorts of bookish and at-home types of things. So in the meantime, I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your week and that you get to read some really amazing books. Bye, y'all.